Tonight, brothers and sisters, I approach you all with a heavy heart tonight for a number of different reasons, but one thing in particular, and that's why I'm doing this tonight, because I really couldn't sit on this any longer. I really couldn't. I am probably the only person in online media who has never actually tried to generate an audience, never actually tried to get a lot of people listening to him. I guess because I've always tried to run my life like a business, and because of that, I don't say a bunch of the things that a lot of people would look for me to say, or I don't do a bunch of things that a lot of people would look for me to do. But if you don't believe anything else about the Black Channel, there was one thing in particular I wanted you to remember. The Black Channel is about integrity. Black men in particular, black people, but black men in particular, had to lie, cheat, steal to survive white supremacy. And they use that against us. They put you in a position where you can't make legal money, but you live in a world that runs on money. And then when they catch you lying, cheating, stealing, doing something illegal to make money, they say, see, they're all liars. See, they're all criminals. So they make it where you can't make money legally. And then when you make it by other means, see, they all their money's never legal. That's the way the game works. And because of that, we inherited a disposition where we've actually taken on that persona of being exactly what they always said. It went from being a survival mechanism to being a way of life. And that's the sad part about it. I did this because I wanted to change that. I am a black man, and because of that, when I hear people saying foul things about black men, that goes at me personally, because I know what I am. I know what I am. I believe I know what black excellence is. And we are excellent at more than just running with a ball and dancing on a stage. We excel and can excel at far more than that. And so when I see mediocrity, when I see low expectations, when I see lack of initiative, and then that is subscribed with people saying that that's me, that's all of them, that's what black males are. Now that goes at me personally. You don't do or say something like that and I just see it pass by and don't feel some kind of way about it, because that's not me. And my effort over the last half a decade with the Black Channel has been to dispel that lingering atmosphere, that lingering label, that this is what black men are, always looking for a quick buck. Well, when they won't let you have a regular job, of course you have to chase the quick buck. But this idea that this is all we are, and that worst of all, that this is what we desire to be. I created the Black Channel because I wanted to vaporize that myth. The Black Channel, Jason Black, and everything that I do and we do is all about integrity. This is what we do because this is what we are. But we have allowed ourselves to become a people with no regard for integrity, for honor, for decency, We want to even argue about what decency is. First of all, if we need it, and B, what it is. So, first we have to argue about whether it actually exists, and then if we can get somebody to agree that it exists, then you have to argue with them over whether or not we actually need it. And then you wonder why males are out there abandoning their children. When mama is a hoe, she's teaching her children that honor is optional. So if you're a hoe, don't be surprised when your son treats other females like hoes, even if they get pregnant. Yeah, that's you. When you think that honor is something you can cast aside, well, guess what? Your children do. And that's how we got here. You don't need to be honorable. You don't need to have integrity. You don't need to be trustworthy. You don't need to be decent. So guess what? Your children don't think they need to have that either. That's the way it's happened. They don't feel they need it either. Tonight, I want to talk about that, but I specifically want to address the women. I specifically want to address black women. And I've got Mona Lachey on the line with me here tonight also, because something happened. Something happened a few months ago. And it dovetails with what happened tonight. We started the Black Female Fitness Challenge, okay? Because I got tired of talking. I got tired of seeing people talking. I know that the way out is power, wealth, and influence. Black women are the fattest, unhealthiest women in America. And somebody needs to stand up and do something about it. And don't listen to the people who say, well, you need to support. Well, what are you doing about it? Don't listen to those jackasses. Don't listen to the people who ask that question or say that statement. Don't listen to people if that's the only thing they say. All they do is ask a question. They never present any type of remedy. I present remedies, and then I have people still saying, well, I don't like that, so give me another solution. No, time to be an adult. And we started the Black Female Fitness Challenge to address black women's lack of physical fitness and the 80% overweight ratio among black women. They lead the nation in deaths and illnesses from fat and being overweight. Ironic that the most athletic women in America are also the fattest and unhealthiest women in America, occupying both of those strata at the same time. That's a disgrace. And as a black man, black women represent me. And that's why I cannot allow them to go out and represent us any kind of way, because they represent me. They are the feminine manifestation of what we as black men are. That is why I have to hold them to a standard. I must. But that's kind of hard. That's really kind of difficult. And the reason that that's difficult is because black women hate themselves. They have inherited a self-hating and this demonic self-loathing. And it is like a virus and a cancer that spreads and infects them and everything around them. They are these walking, gushing barrels of self-enmity, of self-animosity. They have lost the ability to be agreeable. They have lost the ability to even be constructive. And worst of all, now that they've made enemies out of everybody else around the world, they are now turning against themselves. They are now turning their self-hate inward. We've got more black women today who've gone off to the club and left their children at home to die in a fire, be molested, be arrested, and God knows what else. That is what self-hate has done to our women. And they are now turning against each other. Video after video, everywhere you go, everything you see black women everywhere you go, fighting with each other, trying to sleep with each other's man, backstabbing each other. When was the last time that you heard black women speak about a concept of sisterhood? When was the last time you heard them as a group get together and speak to each other about that? They don't. ABC can get black women to get together to whine and pitch and moan about what black men are not doing to make them happy. ABC and nobody else can get black women to sit down and say, hold on a second, heifer. Take a look at yourself. Are you the kind of person that anybody would want to be with? They never do that. And the reason for that is because white society pulls the strings. White supremacy has got you in a trick bag, and they are getting the results that they want. Their woman does not even have to compete against black women because black women sabotage themselves. There's a young woman in our group. Me and LaQuisha created a private group for the Black Female Fitness Motivation for all the women who signed up for it, and we add them to the private group so they can sit and talk and commune with each other. And there was one young lady earlier tonight, and she had expressed that she wanted to do her video, and she asked her sister, her biological sister, she asked her to, hold the camera for her while she records herself. Don't you know that her sister started telling her that this was stupid? That this was useless? That this is a scam? That she's wasting her time? Now, you might have thought that those comments were directed at me, but then she goes on to say that my sister started talking about the way I look and my voice and the way I sound. Her own sister, when she's saying, I want to look better, I want to lose weight, I want to feel better about myself, I want to be a better person, and her own sister came to swing the boots into her ribs. Her own sister did this. White women will back each other on stuff until they look like freaking fools doing it. You go to your job, if one white female shows up wearing a clown outfit, the next week 5 of them will be, her best friends will all be wearing it. They'll never even ask a question about it. Black women, we talk about, don't have all these bastard babies, get your lives together. Do better for yourself, and the only thing that they can think to do is, how can I tear you down? The truth of the matter is, black women do not like to see other black women doing well. If you are a black female listening tonight, if you really think about it, if you think about the times in your life when somebody tried to sabotage you, your baby daddy did not try to sabotage you, you sabotaged yourself. You think about the times in your life when somebody stopped to kick you in the back, to try to knock you down, to try to sabotage and undermine what you were doing. You think about that. And I can practically guarantee you that the overwhelming majority of those times it was another black female who did that. You hear for years that black men need to support us. Don't talk about our weight. Black men need to support us. Okay, we put together a tremendous effort where we support black females, and the first thing that happens is a black female jumps up and says, you're stupid, you look stupid, you sound stupid, you shouldn't do that. Her own sister. Her own sister. And you lying bastards and whores want to tell me that the problem is black men. But you want to tell me that the problem is black men. That's what you want to tell me. Always pointing the finger everywhere else on earth. But the problem is never you and what you're doing. The problem is black men, slavery, the media. Everything except what you just did. Black women as a group despise themselves. And now, when we put together something like this, that I said that we're going to give 100% support to these women, and it was a black female who comes riding in, crashing through the gates to say, no, I'm going to stop it. And she couldn't get a hold of anybody else, so she decides to attempt to slash her own sister. To try to rip her own sister to ribbons. And she let us know that she was now having misgivings about participating in this. She was having doubts about participating in this. She was fine right before her sister said anything to her. Now she's like, well, I'm having doubts about it. It's not because of me. It's not because of the challenge people. It's because her sister sat up and told her, you're ugly. You're stupid. You sound stupid. Your voice sounds stupid. How in the hell are black women ever going to establish esteem for themselves on woman's terms? And they don't have another black woman that they can go to establish that. It is not enough that men like you. That's not enough. You cannot form a sisterhood with other men. With men, period. You cannot form a sisterhood with them. A man can read about what it is like to be a woman. A man does not know and will never know what it is like to be a woman. To have 50% less muscle and less bone density. To have wider hips. To have breasts, to have ovaries. To have a monthly cycle. To have cramps. The way that flowers and colors affect you so much differently than they do men. He likes black and blue and you like pink and red and purple. A man can be many things for his wife. He cannot be her sister. He cannot be that. And most black women hate their sisters. They hate themselves and they hate their sisters. And they live to undermine each other. Who needs the Ku Klux Klan when you've got other black women? Who needs them? As a black man, I look at this, and let me tell you, black men routinely use that trait in black women against each other. You know why all these dudes are out here able to sleep with all the females in a single family? You know why? Because black women hate each other. And they hate each other so much that they will look at their biological sister and sleep with the same dude she's been with. And then mom will sleep with the same dude who's been with her daughters. And you gave birth to these girls. And you hate them. And the guys are just sitting there laughing and capitalizing off the whole damn thing. And white men are right behind them. So many people are capitalizing on that. Tyler Perry has made himself filthy rich. Filthy freaking rich. Based on the arrogance, bullheadedness, irrationality, and self-hate of black women. He puts on these melodramas that are completely and totally fantastic and unrealistic, fantasy-based. Never presents you with any type of plausible, logical, rational outcome, and sends you back out on the street with all of your anxieties, all of your angst, all of your hate, all of your venom. That's what happens to you. This young woman had the courage. She had the courage to join this. And that's why I'm not going to tolerate anybody who says one damn cross word against any of these females. You are gone. And you will not be back. I promise you. You think I had an embargo against the fraud. Speaking about failures and problems in the home. You think I had an embargo against people following that jackass. Anybody who tries to talk against these women, watch what I do. You will be gone and you will not be back. I assure you. The sun might not rise Thursday morning, but I guarantee you, you will not be back. I can't guarantee you the sun will rise Thursday, but I guarantee you, you won't be back. You got more of a chance of the sun not coming up Thursday. More of a chance. I wouldn't want to bet on those odds. These women are outrageously courageous. 36 of them we have. 36. When the world has been counting black women down and out and saying they don't want any better for themselves, don't you all know that that's what white supremacy said? And that's the rationalization that white supremacy gives themselves for supporting the Confederacy. Robert Lee, Stonewall Jackson, Confederate flags. They tell themselves that black folk like being slaves. And a lot of you did, which is the real shame of it. A lot of you actually like being slaves, like being coons, like being downtrodden, like being stepped on. Well, guess what, coons? I ain't joining your ass. But that's what white society tells themselves to make it okay in their minds to keep doing those things. Well, black folk like being slaves. Now, they won't tell you that, but when you get them by themselves and ask them their rationales about these things, it comes back to slavery wasn't that bad. What you suffered wasn't that bad. And for these women to be courageous enough that they looked at how bad the situation is and they got up and did something, and here you're going to come along and say that, well, it's not that bad. Let me kick you in the ribs. It wasn't that bad. I am doing everything I can right now to keep myself calm as I can be, because I really just want to reach through this computer screen and do something not even close to legal. This woman is trying to get her damn act together. She's trying to do what she can do. She is trying. She's actually making an effort, and the first damn time she tries to walk out there, here comes one of these hoes, right from her own damn family, to say, I'm gonna trip you up, Trick. I'm gonna knock you down. We don't need white folk to come in. I got that. You sit down, Mr. Charlie. You sit down. I got your back, Mr. Charlie. I got your back. Don't worry. That hoe ain't gonna go nowhere, Mr. Charlie. I got it. I got your back, Mr. Charlie. You sit on down. You ain't got to do nothing. Don't you rest your feet. Let me fluff your pillow for you. I'll knock her down for you. You were going to get up and knock her down. I'll do it. I'll take care of that work for you. As black women today, you are taken advantage of more times in your life than you care to imagine, because you have a trait of undermining each other. And I am one of the few black men that you will meet who has not tried to use that against you. You've got guys writing books, websites, putting up YouTube videos, using that scatterbrain mentality. Do you know why there are females out there who still support the fraud? The reason why there are females out there who still support the fraud is simply because they want to spite other black females. Is this thing on? The reason why you can have some savage bastard, obviously discredited, completely and totally discredited, and still have black females following them. The TD Jakes, the Creflo Dollars, the Eddie Longs. They do that. They are doing that because they see that there are other black women who hate it. And so they are standing by these no good niggas simply because they know you don't like it. And that's reason enough for them to keep doing it. To spite you. Not black men. Other black women. I will stand by this no good bastard dog who's got 4 kids by 4 different women. I'll stand by him simply because my mom doesn't like it. I will continue to be with him simply because my sister wanted him. He beats my ass like a drum. He runs around on me like a RC car. But I'm gonna stay with him because when I walk in a room full of other black women, I see that they don't like it. And I hate all of you. I hate you all so much that I'm gonna stay with him simply because you don't like it. Yeah, I know it's wrong. I know it's stupid. I know it's crazy. I know it's ridiculous. But I get the satisfaction of knowing that I'm irritating you hoes. That's why I'm staying with him. And as a group, that is where we are today with black women. That even when we put together something like this that is 100% supportive, black women can't even have solidarity to see another black woman take the next breath of life. Brothers and sisters, this is a fitness and health challenge that we put forward, and there are black women who hate other black women so much that they don't even want to see their sister take the next breath of life. She would rather see you die than to help you live. I had a young woman who called in a few months ago. Her name was CJ. And for those of you who heard that broadcast, you know that it was one that I will never forget. I will never forget. And that young woman came on here and told us her story about how because of her mother and her father, but primarily her mother's horrendous abuse, this child is permanently broken and scarred for life because of that. And brothers and sisters, I was livid over here. I was livid over here. There are not very many calls that I take that touch me emotionally, but that one did. That one did, and it spoke to so many other black women. We had responses from other black women saying, that's my story. That is my story. That it is the women in my family, the women, who were the ones who most wanted to institute and instigate my downfall. It is the women who most wanted to engineer my failure. I wanted to say tonight that you are the reason that I do this. You are the reason that I do the Black Channel. You are the reason that I've put tens of thousands of dollars of my own money and years of my life into this. This will be my legacy. This will be my life's work. And you are the reason that I did this. Because I got sick and tired of seeing black people, and in this case specifically black women, who never had a damn chance because there was some dirty ghetto slut whore who either gave birth to her or was given birth by the same person as her or walked into her life or whatever and is trying to knock her down. She's actually trying to do something for herself, and she can't even get her tennis shoes on because there's another black female right there in her damn house trying to trip her up. She can't even get out the starting gate because there is someone right there in her house, another black female, who is so scared and so hateful. She's so scared that you're actually going to have a better life and leave her funky ass behind. And that's what it's really about. You're really most scared that she's actually going to get her life together and leave your ass behind. And you know what? You're right. She will. Because when she starts upgrading and looks at your raggedy ass and realizes she's better than you, you damn right. She's gonna burn out that driveway. She is gonna burn out of that parking lot. Because you're a Model T and she's a Lamborghini. Y'all ain't got nothing in common. Except you got four wheels under you. But that's where the similarities end. Mona Lachey, as a black man, I can love you, I can cherish you, I can adore you, I can support you, I can do many things. I can do almost anything. But the one thing that I cannot do is be a sister to you. But the problem is, it appears that black women have absolutely no desire to be sisters to themselves. Quite the opposite. How in the hell, Mona, do we end up with an initiative like this, and the first person, the only person who has come out of the gate trying to undermine someone is another black female?
Black first. I believe, Jason, that when you step out of what someone perceives to be the norm, fear starts setting in. And when you start having confidence in yourself, like you said, your own sister will cut you down. Because if she thinks that you're going to be successful at this, what if she starts getting all the attention? Or, what if she becomes the center of attraction? What if she gets compliments? What if she shines? So before that happens, I'm going to tear that down. Because for some reason, she has been kept at a lower place than the other sister, from what I can, imagine. And how dare you think that you're going to be better than me? She didn't say that, but she did say that. How dare you, decide that you're going to get your body in shape, that you're going to start getting compliments, that you're going to start looking good, that you're going to start feeling good about yourself. She didn't think to do it for herself, so she for sure doesn't want her sister to do it.
But shouldn't there be something in the black female psyche that prevents that? I mean, saying something like that should be like somebody eating off their child's foot. You know, there should be something in you that makes that something impossible for you to actually accomplish. And yet she did it with ease.
She did it with ease because her sister has praise for someone that is not her. And in the back of her sister's mind is like, oh, Jason wants you to get healthy. She's jealous. And insecurities play a big part in that. Her sister is going to do videos. Her sister is going to get healthier. She's part of this program that her other sister is not. And instead of encouraging her or saying, ooh, let me join with you so that we can, be a support to one another, she tears her down.
I want to know here, because we as black people have become a people who have fallen in love with lying to ourselves. That's how we as black people deal with failure. We lie to ourselves. Please tell me, brothers and sisters, is this a white Barbie, black Barbie situation here that's leading to that self-hate? What does that... And if she felt comfortable enough to say that, then that means that she's been saying this kind of stuff her whole life to this girl.
True.
Now, how is a person supposed to acquire or establish self-esteem, self-confidence, a self-image, any type of pride about themselves? How are they supposed to establish that when they've been raised in a household their whole lives that is taking more shots at them than anybody else? You can't blame this on the black Barbie, white Barbie. That's not the media beating down your sister's self-esteem and your sister's image. That's not the media doing that. That's not slavery doing that. That's you. That's you. All these people around her supporting her, and you can't act like a decent damn human being for 5 minutes. Mona, that is a level of hate that it shocks the conscience, but unfortunately it is all too common amongst our women today. It is all too common. We've got 36 black women in one group, and so far they're all getting along very well. When was the last time, Mona, that you were able to get together 36 black women in one group without some mess jumping off?
I haven't. Just last week, I was talking about getting together in the salon and doing something to uplift black men. And I got frowns from the other black women. And one actually said, well, what about us? So you can't, it's impossible. I try to do things, we had a girls' day out, that included 10 women, and 10 women said they were going to show up and 2 only showed up. You can't do it. You get derailed every time. We had 2 young ladies that just joined in the salon, and 2 of them came in with their stomachs out and crop tops and their side showing and, totally fit. And somebody said, oh, that's inappropriate for the salon. No, it's not. It'd be inappropriate for you because you're not as fit as that. And if you don't like it, then you need to get your body correct. But before we will uplift somebody and praise each other, we will tear them down. And I see it every day. They don't want, they want all the attention. And they don't want anybody else to have it if they don't have it. And if you're a woman that suffers from low self-esteem and you're lonely, you need followers to boost yourself up because you don't have that inner self-confidence about yourself. A perfect example is a person saying, you look good in short hair, but I couldn't do that because my face is too fat, or I have to lose weight, or I have a big forehead. Or there are women that, they will compliment you, or they would admire you, but they'll never tell you. But soon as you do something wrong, they'll shoot it down. Or another woman might say, "Ooh, she looks well put together." There will be one woman that will, notice the tag is sticking out, or a thread is loose, or there's a tiny chip in her fingernail, to just discredit everything that you did to compliment her on. And that's what we face. That's what's going on with women. So the majority of your women only have maybe one or two good friends. And we're each other's enemies.
And it's not that everything is, picturesque among white women or non-black women. It's not like that. Yeah, they have issues too, but they are not nearly as eager or desirous to undermine. This goes beyond just usual feminine cattiness. This is going to a point that you got whole companies where white women and Asian women have worked together to start a company. You can't name one company that two black women got together and started. It would never happen. As a black male, I can tell you all, I've told you all this before, we used to do this. I've seen folk do this. As a black man, if you want to make sure, and this works on all women, but particularly black women, if you want to make sure that your black female secretary or worker never asks for a raise, never asks for time off, if you want to make sure that never happens, just hire another black female. They will not both get together to undermine you. They will be too busy undermining each other. And they will both be trying to show you why the other one ain't nothing. I used to watch white managers do that all the time. Just hire two females. And they'll be so busy going at each other and trying to prove to you that they are the better person that you will never have to worry about a raise, time off, or anything else. Their focus is on each other, not you. And so now it has degenerated and the disease has progressed to the point that we can put together an event for black women who want to lose weight. And it will not be a white man, not a white woman, not a black man. It will be another black female who comes busting through the doors to tear down the other black women. So you want us to do, and this is something that the men, I'm a black man, so this is something that the men organized. And another black female could not help. They are so accustomed and so used to the dysfunction of black society that they are now fighting to preserve it. They are so used to eating that sewage that even when you take them to a 5-star restaurant, they immediately head to the bathroom and start eating out of the toilet. Because they are so accustomed to sewage now. No wonder our women can't develop self-esteem. No wonder they can't bolster their self-image. No wonder they can't get a higher image of themselves. They don't even have a basic support system among each other. Usually among groups of people, when you're an outcast, usually what happens is you get together with other outcasts and you form a community. 'Cause I'm a misfit and you're a misfit. We're misfits. We will work together. 'Cause we got something in common. And the only group of people who have defied that are black women. Even black women as misfits refuse to get together and coalesce and work together and commune together. They refuse to do it. That's how strong this friction of self-hate is. That even the misfits refuse to come together and work together as a team and a unit and to support each other. They would rather be alone and angry than with other people and happy. That's how far this has gotten. That's how far we've gone. And as a black male, it is a shame to see that black women hate each other so much that we can put together something like this and we didn't even make it out of day one. We didn't make it 6 hours before that happened. We didn't make it 6 hours. At the very least, for something like this, you know, if you're not going to have your sister's back for something like this, what the hell will you have it for? The answer is nothing. Black women hate to see other black women succeeding. They despise it. Instead of saying, sister, let's get together and you're succeeding, how can we succeed? They instead say, I'm failing. You're starting to succeed. I must make you fail. I will do the work of both of us. I will fail for myself and I will fail for you also.
What you're saying is true, because when when the owner decided to ask me to be the manager at his new salon, what he did, he took the women and put them in one place and kept the men in another. You know, I let everybody know that I am the salon manager. I'm not here to babysit you. You know, I'm here so that anything that you need, you know, you'll get it. And we're going to make this salon the best salon in Riverside. And we're going to, you know, get paid. And everybody was cool with it until I had to tell someone, hey, you can't have your children here while you're working. Then I became a bitch. They were going to try to take my job. They don't want to listen to anything I say. I have a harsh tone, anything to call him and tell on me. And one girl actually told me that she was going to get me fired. So it's a lot of envy. And you're right when you say they don't want you to succeed. And I don't do anything. I just sit in there and, hey, are you guys cold? Are you hot? You need the air on? Is the music cool? You know, you guys have enough towels? I don't do anything to them, but just for the simple reason that I am the manager, they have a problem with that. And they'll smile in my face, but they can't wait to talk behind my back. Not understanding that the man that put me in the position has my back. So when they go to him and tell on me, he comes back and tells me. So how am I supposed to go in the next day and smile in these young women's faces and, you know, try to do something for them when I know they are stabbing me in the back? So it becomes hard to really want to look out for them, but really not really want to look out for them because of the cattiness. And it's only 10 women, and I made sure that I was trying not to create any side cliques to make sure to let them know that we are a unit. We all are going to get paid. We all are going to help each other out. There's going to be some friendly competition in here. So when I see you over there getting down, I'm going to get down too. And they smile at me, but I don't think they really believe it. And I don't know where that comes from. And maybe it comes from nobody ever talking to them in that manner. And no other woman really having their back. So maybe they're not really fighting it, but unconsciously they are, because they can't trust it. But it is very tragic for women to not have a sisterhood. And they don't want to be called to task from another woman. But like you said, you as a man cannot do that. It takes another woman that genuinely cares about you to say, hey, that's wrong. Hey, don't do that. Hey, you shouldn't talk like that. Hey, you can't treat that person like that. That means I care about you and how you're looking out in this world. But they'll take it as, oh, you think you're better than me, and if you really have a strong, I'll say a strict set of morals for yourself, you think like a man, or you're mean, or that's why you'll never get a man because you don't have any emotions. Just anything to evade the truth of the matter. So as you're helping them, they're tearing you down. And it's a terrible cycle.
And
that young lady decided to step outside and do something good for herself. And she had pumped her own self up. And she's ready to do her video. And here comes somebody to tear her down. How do we know that that'll be the last time she doesn't give up on herself? And who are you to do that to another person, especially your sister?
Well, I've sent her a message, and I said, you know what? I'll talk to your sister for you, since she has concerns about the legitimacy of what we're doing. I'll talk to her myself, but I got a feeling that I won't be talking to her very long before the conversation shifts away from the legitimacy of our contest and just shifts to how much she doesn't like you in general.
But here's the thing that I heard, Jason. I didn't hear her say, something about the legitimacy of the contest, so that she had another alternative for the girl. Oh, well, I don't think A, B, C, D, F, G, and don't put your $20 here. Let's do this. She just destroyed the whole thing.
Yeah, the only option she wanted to present was stay fat.
Yes.
In other words, stay like me. You don't want to do that. That's stupid. Don't do that. What should I do? You're doing fine, just like you are. No, yeah. I'm not. I'm not happy. You need to stop. You need to be happy the way you are. You mean like you? I need to be happy being like you? She wants somebody to stay broken down like she is. And that's crazy, because to me, in my life, one of the reasons why I've never had a problem working with successful other black people is because I can understand what it takes to get there. And I'm not looking to undermine that. I want to see them doing well. I want to see them doing well because I want well for myself. And their wellness does not come at my expense. Maybe I can learn something about that. If I make 10 million, I want them to make 100 million. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with wanting somebody else to do well. But we have a situation where our women have decided that they don't want to do well, and they don't want anybody else doing well either. And your own sister, you would rather see her unhealthy than living well because you don't have it. Instead of saying, how can we both get it, you're saying, how can we both lose it? Oh, looks like she's getting something. How can I help her lose what she's got? I will do what I can. Like I said, I'll do what I can. I'm not gonna give up on her, and I can't keep anybody in this who doesn't want to be in this, but I'm gonna do what I can, and the other females in the group have been talking to her also, and we need to do what we can to support her in this and let her know that it's one of those things that, Mona, the way it is that as a black man, I have to think strategically about things, okay? That's what a leader does. A leader doesn't say everything that enters his head. If you did, we'd have a world of never-ending wars. You see the Japanese or the Russians do something you don't like. The Russians went into the Ukraine here a couple of weeks ago. Barack Obama, all they said is that this is very disturbing. You're isolating yourselves. Okay, that was the nice way of saying it. Well, yeah, Obama could have gone out there and said, you dirty bastards, you've invaded the Ukraine. Get your asses out of there. It's war, damn it. Well, you might be thinking that, but you can't say that now, can you? You might be thinking it, but it would be counterproductive to actually say it. That's not actually for the best. It might make you feel satisfied emotionally, but you've actually done more harm than good. And an adult is supposed to understand that. So I think strategically about things. And I see black men say things that I don't like. And I hear black men say things that I don't agree with. But I try to set the example of not going from one conflict to another. And if I see something I don't agree with, I may not say anything, but I'm not going to support it. I might not tear them down, but I'm not going to sit there and co-sign that mess. I'm not going to sit there and co-sign it. And so with this, I'm going to try to set the example on it again. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask that everybody who's in the female fitness group, reach out to her. Don't ignore her. Reach out to her, because you don't know what's been going on in their families. You don't know what's been going on in her family. I may not speak against stuff, but I understand when it's a problem. And one of the things in particular is that when I hear somebody taking shots at black women personality-wise or physically, that's something right there I don't tolerate. I might not say anything about it, but understand something, buddy. I'm not co-signing that mess. There are unique features that black women have that I love about black women. I love black women's broader shoulders. They're not waifish like white women and Orientals tend to be. They're not fragile. They have a good solid build. And I love that about black women. I could not stand to have a slender toothpick built female. I couldn't stand to have it. Kerry Washington, that marriage is doomed to failure. Baby, you is just too bony. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. When a rack of lamb got more muscle than you do, baby, it's not gonna work. I love black women's, even black women's voices. Some folk out there have tried to pass off this nonsense that there's a problem with black women's voices. And that's what this woman's evil, iniquitous sister said. That there was something wrong with her voice. There is nothing wrong with black women's voices. There is nothing wrong with black women's voices. In white society, they call Kathleen Turner sultry and sexy with her deep-ass voice. Deep for a female. They called her sultry and sexy. They sold bras and chocolate and every damn thing else off that woman's voice. But in black society, you have some people still suffering from their mommy issues. And all of a sudden, that's a problem. You never heard white men say that about their women. You never heard Asians say that about their women. Anything you try to find wrong with their women, they will spin that mess around and turn it into a positive. As long as it's as long as it's trivial. If it's something trivial, they cut bait on that real quick. They cut bait on that real quick. And as men, that's what we as black men should be doing. We're supposed to be finding ways to accentuate the positives of our women. I mean, do you all understand how diabolical that really is to do something like that? I want you all to think about that for a moment. Because Mona Lachey, you don't have a tinny voice either. And I want people to think about how diabolical that really is. Do you know how monstrous that is when you tell somebody that there's something wrong with their voice? Do you really know what you just told them? What you really just told them is you don't have the right to even speak. Don't open your mouth. Don't open your mouth and speak. People do not even understand. Do you realize that's what you just said was don't even open your mouth and speak? The rest of us can talk. You don't speak. Back in the days of slavery, black men were not allowed to look white folk in the eyes. When they were freed slaves from the plantations, they were not. They were like, man, I got to get used to this. I got to get used to being able to walk down the streets of New Orleans, the streets of Nashville, the streets of Biloxi. I got to get used to walking down the street and looking white folk in the eye, because I'm so used to looking down. I am so accustomed. I police myself now. I don't even look at these folk in the eye. I hold my head down. I don't say anything. I don't speak until I'm spoken to. Many reports from the slaves, that was one of the first things they had to get used to as black men in particular. I got to get used to being able to look white folk in the eye. That I don't have to look down at my feet anymore when I pass them. I got to get used to that, man. I got to get used to somebody not being able to tell me that I don't have the right to speak. That it's offensive for me to be heard talking. I got to get accustomed to that. Because I'm not used to being able to just speak. One of the reasons that the fraud and his kind came to not like me very quickly was because of the fact that as a black man, I was the first black man that they had met who acquired power and influence and didn't have to beat down females to get it. And they were looking at me like I had performed alchemy. Like I had turned flour into platinum. That was what they were doing. Amazed, shocked. Shocked that I didn't have some blood debt that I was looking to repay. That I was saying that it is based upon what we build that is going to determine the reactions that we get. Because you see, when I talk to black women, I talk about what can be done better. I don't just sit there and drone on about what you've done wrong. I tell you what is expected of you to be better. And there is such enmity and self-hate and absolute rancor among black people and directed and focused through our women that you can just... How can you have a black community if you cannot even establish a black sisterhood? How are you going to be able to work with black women on the other side of the country and you cannot even form a relationship with the black women under the roof that you're in, that you're under? How do you do that? How do you do that when you spent your life with that going on? How does that happen?
It doesn't happen. You can barely have 3 women, try to form a corporation or to try to do something with somebody talking behind your back or somebody telling you don't say nothing, but then when the other person gets mad, they say don't say nothing. So you find out that you have been the one that both of them have been talking about, but don't say nothing. It's terrible. It is. All the little secrets, all the little games, all the little backstabbing, all the I want to be, your one and only friend, or you can't be friends with her because I didn't like her in high school, or just all the little foolishness. Like you said, at some point in time, we expect adults to act like adults. Even to the point where another female is cheating with another female's man. The man never gets checked. She'll attack that woman. It's a mess. Nobody will congratulate you on a promotion. Nobody will congratulate you on a hairstyle. Nobody will compliment you on anything. She all right. Hell, you could push like on a Facebook photo of another female and say, "You're beautiful." She all right. Or we've been made to think if we compliment each other, then we're lesbians or something. I've never heard of such a thing.
Well, the few times that you are allowed to compliment each other.
Yeah.
The few times that happens. Mona, I've had situations, I mean more than one. It was freaky and crazy and weirded me out the first time it happened. I've had situations where, like with my girlfriends, I would see a pair of shoes or whatever. And I'd be like, well, I want to get those shoes for you. And don't you know that like online or places like that, I'd see a female wearing some shoes or something like that. I'd ask them where they got them from. And don't you know my girlfriend said that I had to ask them? They said, I can't ask her. And I was like, why not? Because females don't like to do that for other females. They said she'll tell you, but she won't tell me if I ask.
And you're right. A lady came into the salon one day. She had a purse and I wanted it. And I said, hey, I love that purse. Where do you get it from? And where did you get it from? And she said, in the mall. And I said the name of the store. And I know that mall like I know the back of my hand. And there was no store in that mall called whatever she said it was. And I said, are you sure? Is it in between this and that? And she was like, yeah, she was lying. She did not want me to know. Another time, I like these ladies' pants. And I complimented her, and she said, what did you say? I said, I just liked your pants. I was wondering where you got them from. And she turned her nose up. We don't want each other to know where we get things from. Hell, my business cannot be successful because females do not want to tell where they get their hair done at. And I have to tell them, don't do that. You messing with my money. So, yeah, they'll tell you. They don't want to tell each other. And even to the point where I think one year I had on a sweatsuit and the young lady asked me where I got it from. And I said, Walmart. They have them in all colors. She cursed me out and told me if I didn't want to tell her where I really got it from, I should have just said that. And I'm looking at her like, really? I just told you where I got it from. It's no way that you got that from Walmart. Well, why don't you go check and see? But she cussed me out. Yeah, they will tell you, Jason. They will. We won't tell each other nothing.
That reminds me. Years ago, years ago I got my girlfriend's hair done. Yes, I do that. Years ago I got my girlfriend's hair done, and it was this older white lady that I worked with and whatnot. And I was somehow it had come up that we were talking about that. And don't you know that she sits up here and busts out telling me about who she gets to do her hair. I was talking about my girlfriend can go see them. It's like, woman, I'm not telling my girlfriend to go see your hairstylist. Your stylist is like a 78-year-old little old lady. Wonderful Irish woman, I'm sure she is, but she can do her hair just fine. I'm like, can she do Afro twists? I don't think so. Please. She might be good enough for Mildred and the girls, but no, I think this is a little bit out of her scope of support. But that was how that went down. They understand that as a people, they're protecting their economy. They understand that as a people, they're protecting and helping each other. And as a people, particularly our women, and 75% of our children are being raised by black women. No wonder the children are so hateful. No wonder the children are so hateful. When Frank Miller wrote Sin City, even in Sin City, the part of town that was run by the prostitutes, all the prostitutes worked together. They were all whores, but they were whores who controlled and were profiting off of what they were doing in their part of town. And yet, as black women, you got slums in Bedford-Stuyvesant, slums in Ferguson, slums in South Central, and they have not even been able to bring each other together and say, you know what, at least we'll be queen of the damn slums. They haven't even been able to do that. They hate each other so much because, you know why you could not have a queen of the slums? Because all the other hoes would be trying to knock her off the whole time. She'd never get there. It'd be like, damn me, Game of Thrones. Nobody can be king for more than 6 months because everybody's trying to kill you. So the currency's gone to hell. People are starving. Winter is coming. Ain't nobody even got a pair of shoes, much less a coat. And yet, we got time to be carrying on mutinies. We have time for insurrections. That's what we focus our energy toward. I'm going to make sure that I do everything in my power to help and support this young woman through this. And for all the others, because you all are why I do this. Because you didn't have a support system like that. You didn't have a bunch of people that you grew up with who were actually going to try to see you do better. Do you all understand I've had a good number, not a tremendous number. I mean, we're nowhere even close to 7 a.m., okay? Let me say that. It is nowhere even close to 7 a.m. Nowhere even close to it. But I've had people who said, can I send $5? Can I send $10 to contribute to the grand prize? And I'm like, sure. Because this isn't about how much money you gave. This is about how much you care. Did you even care to do it? Did you even care to do it? And I'm going to have a list so that you all can see the people who did financially contribute to this, so you can see that. Because I want these women to know that whether you knew it or not, these people believed in you. Even if you didn't believe in you, these people did. They believe in you even if you don't. How can you not believe in yourself when all of these people do? This is what has been missing. We have had too many people who have laughed and chuckled and cheered and celebrated at the failures of black women. Even under their own roofs, at their own mothers' houses, they've been celebrating you failing. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of people saying that we're going to celebrate you failing. That doesn't mean that I'm going to co-sign any garbage you walk in the door with. But when you get an opportunity like this, and if you actually stand up and do the right thing, if you take one step towards me, I'll take two towards you. And they need to see somebody who is willing to put themselves out there on a limb and say, you know what? You've done a lot of screwing up, but I'm willing to believe in you. I'm willing to give you this opportunity, and I'm willing to believe in you. You know, our women, the reason why you need stories is because you need to be able to tell your people what they're looking up to. That is the definition of art, brothers and sisters. The definition of art is not a painting or a drawing. The reason that art is important is because art presents to mankind an ideal image of himself. It shows man what he is when he is perfect. And can we ever achieve perfection? We don't know. Most likely not. But it helps to keep us remembering and to keep in sight where we're trying to go. And with Hollywood and the black home and black writers refusing to present black women with any type of ideal for themselves, no wonder we end up with hoes. Tyler Perry has never once presented the ideal black woman. and he never will. Oprah Winfrey has never presented the ideal black woman, and she never will. She's so psychologically schismed and damaged, she couldn't begin to tell you what it is. Because you see, the ideal black woman actually gets along with her husband, and it's a mutually gratifying relationship. Oprah Winfrey would stab your eyes out if you ever tried to get her in a movie or a role, or to even speak well of a functional black male-female relationship. She would spit on you because she hates herself so much, and she hates you succeeding. That even if another black woman says, I'm happily married, Oprah rolls her eyes. You all see her when she does that. Whenever she had a black couple on her show, she'd roll her eyes. Yeah, right. Happily married, okay. My mama was a bastard baby maker. She'll tell you about that happily married thing. Yeah, whatever. She's so consumed with venom that she will not even go to her sisters and present to them an idealized version of themselves, so that they can at least see where they're trying to go. She is so dirty and so hateful that she won't even do that with her massive powers. She instead presents to black women what? Precious. When Oprah Winfrey has had an opportunity to be a producer and invest in films, what did she choose? What movies did she choose to be a part of? Color Purple, Beloved, Precious. Films with very nice flowery names, and they presented black women in the most ugly, disgusting light. That nothing in your life is good. Then they'll complain about what white folk won't show us, and they won't give us these kind of roles or these kind of TV shows. We'll take a look at what Oprah gave you. She made the white folk look downright charitable. We have failed to present to our daughters an idealized version of themselves, and without that, they have no concept of what their image should be. Thus, they're not fighting for anything better. They don't see anything better to fight for, or to try to be like. And I'm trying to do the little bit that I can. I'm saying, you know what? I will present it. Maybe you can't have everything in your life the way you want it, but at least your body can be what you want it to be. At least you have control of your body. And it's another black female who's walked in and said, your body is worthless. You look funny. You sound funny. Your body is worthless. Well, I don't know who you are out there, miss. I don't know your name. I don't know where you live. I don't know where you came from. I don't know how you became such an evil wretch. I don't know how that happened. But I can say, to hell with you. Because we're not going to give up on your sister. You might have given up on yourself, and you might be trying to convince her to give up on herself, but we are not going to give up on her. The fact that that poor child, after all these years, I'm sure, of your dogged abuse, was somehow able to limp her way to us. She was somehow able to crawl and limp her way to our presence. And somehow she was able to overcome her fears and actually put her courage on the table and say, with that meek little soft voice, I'll try. I don't know if I can succeed, but I'll try. No, you can kiss my ass. There's no way I'm going to give up on her. Because she hasn't given up on herself. Despite your evil, diabolical, disgusting attempts to do that, to destroy her faith in herself, she hasn't lost it. And that is what I love and adore about black women. That is what I love about them. That despite all of the beating and the battering and the abuse and the punishment and the destruction, that somehow they've been able to still find a way to pick themselves back up on their feet. And I'll be damned if I'm going to give up on that. The Black Female Fitness Motivation Challenge has begun. We've got 36 black women who have signed up to be a part of this. We'll be following them over the course of 30 days, and you are welcome to join us. You can see their progress. You'll hear from them. And I'm just going to say that if you don't have anything nice to say, and I didn't say constructive, because you know how niggas are about that. They'll sit up here and be having sex with your husband talking about, well, I was trying to make your marriage better. That's how stupid and dumb a lot of black folk are about things. They're so hateful that's the kind of stuff they go off and do. If you don't have anything nice to say, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be in your best interest not to say nothing. Because if you open your mouth and you say something and I don't like what I see, even if I'm misunderstanding what you meant, if I don't like what you see, what I see, or what I read, you're gone. So I'm going to tell you that if you don't say something that is positive in no uncertain terms, just understand you're out of here. Anything that I even think I perceive as a slick under the table comment, it's your responsibility to make sure there's no misunderstanding, not mine. Because for a lot of these women, for most of these women, this is the first time in their lives that they have had other black people, and particularly black men, a large group of black men who have actually believed in them and had a little bit of faith in them. They haven't had a man who wasn't trying to sleep with them genuinely just say, you know what, I want to see you do better. I'm here to encourage you. I want to see you do well. They're not used to that. They're not accustomed to that. This is the first time they've encountered that. And you think I'm going to let you tear that down? You must be a crack baby. Got to be. Saying something stupid like that? No, I am never going to let you do that. Not now, not ever. You will never get to do that. This is too important. Too important. Far too important. And we as black people need to start establishing something we've never had, a culture. And I'm doing my little part. It's nothing huge, people, but I just got up one day and said, you know what? I wanted to get back, because I told you all months ago that I wanted to do another black female fitness motivation, but I wanted it to be different than the last one. I wanted to have something with real world impact. And this is what we put together. Not just me, all of us. There are literally dozens. I don't think I'm talking out of school here, and I don't think I'm being premature when I say this. Brothers and sisters, there are literally dozens of black men, and a couple of ladies too, by the way. But there are literally dozens of black men who stepped up to this and said, you know what? I ain't got much, but I'll contribute. I mean, I just held it out there, and there were literally dozens who said, I'll do it. I'll contribute. I want to be a part of it. This is what we've needed for so long, because the baby boomer generation was so selfish and such conceited jackasses, they left these children to nothing. And the generations before them did not try hard enough. So here we are trying to invent the wheel today. And somebody's done walked up and said, that wheel's too round. You need some corners on that wheel. No. I am not going to let you break her spirit. And I'm not going to let you break the little bit of faith she's got left. Because that little bit of faith is going to see her to the promised land. Because she's not doing this for us, you jackass. And she's not doing this for you. She's doing this because she wants to have something nice for herself. And she has finally woken up to the truth that she can have the life she wants if she gets up and does something for it. I have nothing but the highest respect and the deepest esteem for every single woman who has signed up for this. They are a role model to every single black person on earth. They are role models. And I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring, but the fact that they were able to even get this far is monumental. And if you aren't a part of supporting them, that doesn't mean that you have to hope that this person gets the prize or whatever, because the prize here is your self-respect back. Something that they lost a while ago. The prize here is their self-respect back. That's the prize.
You know what, Jason? What really was pissing me off about what you just said about her sister is this. We don't know how many times that this young lady started and stopped. We don't know how many challenges that she saw and she didn't finish. But what we do know is that it's something that you said, something that LaQuisha said that drew her to us. And something about what was said made her feel that this time I can do this. And I have a genuine support system. And I'm ready to go. And I'm going to give this my 100% because I know there are people that are going to push me. And her sister didn't even help her get out the gate. Just tried to just shut her down at the beginning. And that's what really pisses me off. And that's why we can't get anywhere.
Brothers, the reason that we do not have women who are honorable and worthy of us is because the women are not honorable and worthy of themselves. And if before every black male is trying to figure out what he can get out of them, we need to start showing them what they need to get out of each other. You want to know why your wife or your girlfriend is not very nurturing with your children? It's because she hasn't learned to be that with herself. Other women would check her on that kind of thing. As a woman, she knows what she is supposed to be, but she is clumsy and brutish with it. And she needs other women to help her to correct that. And we should be pushing them to have that. If I had my way, it would be mandatory that black women sit and just talk with each other twice a week as a group. Even if it's only for 1 hour, you should be required to just sit and talk to each other. We got so many busted up ass black homes today because black women don't know how to choose a man. And if you do have a black female who is in a good marriage, she won't talk to the other women about it. She'll be too scared y'all are going to try to take her man. She won't tell you all how well things are going in her marriage. She's going to tell you it's garbage. And you know how I know that? Because every black man out there right now, and Mona, you know it's the truth too. Your female, when you go to work, she tells you that her relationship is terrible. If she's in a good relationship, she will tell you the relationship is terrible. She'll tell you that her man never does right. He's always watching football. He's always hanging out. She will try to make him seem heinous simply to keep other females from trying to become interested in him.
Yes, and it's a known thing that married women don't hang out with single women. And if you say that, hey, I want to be married, they'll tell you, no, you don't. Well, you're married and you've been together for all these years. I want what you have. Oh, no, you don't. We don't get any encouragement from anything. Yeah, it's a code. You don't hang, married women don't have single girlfriends. And they're not going to tell you how to have a successful marriage. And they do tell you that I do everything. He doesn't do nothing. He's dumber than me. Well, and I'm thinking, well, why? You married to him 25 years then? But I see past all that. And it used to be a time that you can go to the elders and they would, tell you how to have a successful marriage and how to look and how to dress and how to carry yourself. You get nothing. You get nothing. So that's why all these women out here, failing just from experience. They're failing because they're out here trying to do something because they don't know their way and nobody is helping them find a way. So they make a lot of these mistakes just from trial and error. Or they don't want to hear it, or they think what you're saying is outdated because there's so many people going in the wrong direction. They don't have the courage to go in the right direction, to step outside of that box. It's easy to do bad. It's hard to keep on doing good. That's what they think. Because the majority of the women that are doing bad, they get all the attention. And a woman by nature wants some attention. So if I got to get it negatively, I'm going to get it. And if you get more negatively than I do, then I'm going to do the worstest thing possible to get more. And we just go downhill as women.
It is important that when we have... I did this challenge because I wanted to make an opportunity for us to do the right thing. Since nothing else was happening, nothing was happening on its own, I wanted to create an opportunity for us to do the right thing. And I'm going to do my part not to let this slip away from us. We don't get very many opportunities where we actually get to come together as a people and engender something better. We just watched the Miss USA pageant. How many of those white women on that stage were their sisters telling them, you sound funny, you look funny? I'm not going to hold the camera for you. You sound funny. You look funny. You can't win this thing. How many of them? And we as black people, it happens too often. So I created this challenge because I wanted us to see an opportunity in ourselves to make something better happen. I wanted to see that. And it was critical and crucial to me that we make that occur. So I did what I could. Now, for everybody else out there, it'll be your opportunity. But the challenge itself has begun. We'll see about having the first group of videos out by the end of the week here, it looks like. And understand something, brothers and sisters. You are seeing an incredibly courageous group of women who are willing to put themselves out there up front for public scrutiny, to show themselves to the world. And let me tell you something. To the ladies who are involved in this, let me tell you something. I don't want any of you to feel bad at all, because the truth is, and you know it's true, everybody else you see around you is in the same shape. The only difference is you actually had enough damn sense to say, you know what, I want to fix this, and the rest of them didn't. You just had enough sense to finally admit there was a problem, and the rest of them haven't. And you are going to get our full, undivided, unquestioning support for doing that, because you have the guts to do that. And as long as you keep believing in yourself, we're going to keep believing in you. I didn't say it was going to be easy. I didn't say it was going to be simple. I didn't say you weren't going to doubt yourself. What I am saying is that when you do encounter those times of doubt and disbelief, you've got people who believe in you now. And you can, like the song says, lean on me. You know, you can do that. That's what you can do. You've actually got a people who are here for that. And that's not just for her. That's for everybody involved in this. And for everybody else listening. The real scourge and the real crime of the baby boomer generation is that they did not create a black community for us to be a part of. That is a global atrocity that they did that. So we've got to make one now. However, that does not absolve us of our responsibility to do so. That doesn't excuse us or pardon us from our responsibility to do so. We didn't have a community, but we have an obligation to build one. I'm doing my part. You can do yours. But sisters, you got our support. You have our support because you are going to light the way for everybody else. I'm going to leave you all tonight with this thought. What is a pioneer? A pioneer is somebody who really doesn't have anything but their courage and their feet. Really. A pioneer does not know what is waiting around the bend for him. He doesn't know what's behind this rock, behind this hill, over that mountain. He doesn't know. For those of you who are not familiar with the story of Lewis and Clark, they were looking for something mythical. They were looking for what was called the Northwest Passage. They thought that there was a river that ran basically east to west and would take you to the Pacific. They wanted to find a shortcut to China and India. And what they found out was that no, there wasn't. But do you know what they had to go through to find that out? They had to go over the water and through the woods and over the hills, through the trees, across the mountains. Many times they were saying, you know, over this next mountain. What we're looking for is right over this next mountain. And they would work like hell and climb that mountain. Brave the dangers, people dying around them. They get to the top of that mountain to look over and see more mountains. No river. Just more mountains. But you see, things changed. After the failed, well, I shouldn't say failed, but after the expedition of Lewis and Clark, when they realized that heading from the eastern United States to the western United States, there was no Northwest Passage, and they didn't have all that going. But what they did find out later, there isn't a river that takes us from east to west. No. But there is something in the west worth going to. Because you see, right after that, guess what? They struck gold in California. That was when the first gold was found in California. They had been looking for El Dorado in South America and Mexico for centuries. And all the damn gold is sitting up here in California. But you see, we never get California if the pioneers are not willing to suffer the thistles, the cold snaps, the frostbite, the mosquitoes, the rains, the blistering heat, the frigid colds, the raging rivers, the high mountains. You never get there if you're not a person who is willing to endure all those things. You're not going to get there. And pioneers have it harder than anybody because everybody who comes after them, at least everybody who comes after them knows what they're going into. They're psychologically prepared. Pioneers have to go out and find out on their own, and there's nobody to prepare them for what they're about to encounter. And these women are pioneers because for the last 200 years, in the last 20 years in particular, black women's self-image, and particularly their body image, has been decimated. And white supremacy has been laughing their asses off, because as long as black women are overweight, they will raise their children. They are unhealthy. They will raise their children to be unhealthy, and the black community will be unhealthy. A healthy black woman is their worst nightmare walking. A healthy black woman is white supremacy's worst nightmare come to life. And that's why they do everything to make you feel that you must be discouraged from that. And we're trying to launch a counteroffensive. But make no mistake about it, ladies, you are pioneers. The only difference is, in this case, there is a Northwest Passage. There is one. But you are still going to have to go over the mountains, through the woods, and across the rapids to get there. You are still going to have to do that. You still will. That's the bad news. The good news is we'll be with you. We will be with you. Black women are the greatest women on earth, and damn it, we are going to do our part to make sure they look like it, and act like it, and feel like it. Mona, I'll let you have the last word.
I want to also say that for the women that have joined the challenge, this is a great beginning for you. And sometimes when you start your greatness, you'll have opposition. But I just want to say this: let no one and no thing get in your way, because you did have the courage to do this. You had the courage that other people didn't have. You had the tenacity to stand before people and say, I'm flawed, but I'm going to be fabulous when this is all over. That's all I have to say.
Brothers and sisters, I want you to know that this is a joyous event. This is a happy event for us, because we have the opportunity to make a choice. You find out what you're made of when you meet adversity. Anybody can deal with clear skies and sunshine. How do you deal with the rain and the snow and the floods? How do you deal with that? Because 1,000 years of sunshine can be destroyed by one day of flood if you're not ready for that, if you're not prepared to face that. How do you deal with that? And we faced adversity, and now you're seeing how we deal with it. We are not going to start separating. That's why we have a fist. We welcomed you with the open hand, but after you've been welcomed, now we ball up our fists, because we are stronger together. And the more you try to assail us, we might slap you at first, but if slapping you don't make the point, we're going to come together even closer and even tighter, like a fist. And now we're going to hit you again. Only this time it's going to feel a lot different. We are going to teach the world that it's great to be black again. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the BlackChannel.net radio. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, brothers and sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future for our men and our women is uncompromising.